from the Army in 1977, and in 2007 he was presented with the Medal of Honor for his actions in the Iron Drang. Please give a hearty welcome to Colonel Bruce Crandall.
Great honor for me to be here, and at my age it's a great honor to be anywhere. The first thing I'd like to do is we honored my brothers from the battle, but there were a lot of our brothers didn't come home, and I think their families are here. And I'd also like to honor the wives and the families of my brothers that did come home, because our wives were the key to many of our careers, and many of us being what we are today. So please give a round of applause. When I first heard of the wall and read about it, I read that it was going to be black and that half of it would be buried in the ground. And I couldn't think of anything worse. I thought we were, whoever the people were that made the decision on the design, had their heads up and locked. That's an Army expression for him. Anyhow, it was very sad for me to think that they were going to honor our dead with something that you couldn't see from a couple hundred yards away if you were in the wrong location. And the day that I came, saw it for the first time, I changed my mind. I wanted to hug those people that made the decision as to having a black wall with all our names on it, and with all of our loved ones there. And such a great memorial to those that died in that battle. So this is my opportunity to say thank you to that board for their vision and for understanding what we were going to have here. Wall panel 3E are the people that died in that battle. And next to them in 4E, I have 4 of my people that came up missing, their MIAs on the 28th of December, 1965. And I was prepared for KIAs and WIAs as a commander. I knew how to handle that, but I didn't have the slightest idea how to handle MIA. How do I write to a wife that I've known for 2 years to tell her I can't find her husband? And so 40 plus years later, they were found, and they're out here at Arlington. And I will tell you that Arlington has a place in my heart that's equal to this wall. It's a wonderful, beautiful complex. My wife is out there waiting for me. And God, if you're listening, I'm ready. I know God thinks I should have more time, so I can shape up better, but that's between him and me, isn't it? God, I'm ready. You can take me anytime. I had my wife for 54 years. I loved her for 58. We had 53 homes for 54 years. We had 52 homes in 44 years. We had 3 sons. They were all Eagle Scouts. They were all acolytes in our church. And they were all got master's degrees or better. And my wife says she raised 4 boys. You all understand that one, huh? The first thing I learned to do was say yes to her when I got married. That was after she told me she could pass a white glove inspection, that the IGs were pulling on us. Those of you that were in the military in the old days, you know what that was. And they were really a pain in the where. And She said she could pass a white glove inspection, so I told her she could, and she said yes, she could. So I made a dumb first lieutenant, came home with a pair of white gloves, and I went around the house with putting my hand up on the door jams and a few other places. And I showed her the gloves. Well, she said, don't you ever do that again.
Been there.
I said, yes, dear. From then on, I said, yes, dear. And I left the military at the door. She couldn't pass an IG inspection. My troops could. Anyhow, it was a great honor for me to receive the Medal of Honor. Ed Freeman was my wingman, and he's the only one that volunteered to go with me. And Joe Warren was on the ground in there, and Joe got the medal also. He was the young lieutenant. One comment about Joe, he's a wonderful, wonderful recipient of the medal. He's a colonel retired. He has 6,000 pigs. And you can give me 2. Now I'm down to 1. And he said that even though I took him out, which is why I'm negotiating for the pig, he said if he hadn't taken me in, I wouldn't have got shot. Now he's thinking like a wife. And I told him to stop that, get me a pig. Well, we haven't got it done yet, so I'll see Joe in a couple, probably tomorrow, the next day, and we'll continue that negotiation. But it's been going on for an awful long time, and I'm a lot older than Joe, so any of you that know Joe Martin, tell him to give me a pig. I can use the bacon, and besides that, he can get along with another pig. When I was told that I would get the award, I was told I would be considered. Ed Freeman and I were to go before the same board. And so I received a phone call from the colonel that was in the Desper's office, and I'm going to crap on the Desper a little bit here. The colonel told me that they were putting Freeman and I to the same board, so Freeman wouldn't get the award. He would get the DSC because he was behind me. When you would fly in helicopters, one flies behind the other. That's normal. But he was the only one that volunteered to go with me, and we flew for 14 and a half hours that day. Ed deserved the award, so I, with a lot of attack, called the general's office. He said, he said, why are you calling? I said, because I understand you're putting Ed and I to the same board. And he says, that's right. And I said, that's wrong. He says, I'm not going. And you can shove that right up your butt. So it took 6 more years before I got the award. And Big Ed wouldn't loan me his when I'm on the weekends. But the honor that you have when you receive the award is just absolutely awesome. All of our young recipients, we have 10 living ones, and we'll have another one tomorrow. It'll be the 11th living recipient out of the war on terror, and they're all from Afghanistan. They feel uncomfortable about wearing the award, and I've been the mentor for many of our recipients. And the one common denominator is they say, I feel uncomfortable, I was just doing my job. And I don't deserve that. I just should have gone for the guys who didn't come home, the guys who fought with me. I will tell you folks, anybody that wants to listen, that there isn't a single person that wears the medal that didn't feel that way. This happens to you when you don't happen to it. And the young guys, without exception, have good conduct medals that they're wearing their ribbons. And I point that out, and I say, even your mother wouldn't believe you deserve a good conduct medal, so get over it. See, I have a good conduct medal, so I know what that means. I didn't say I earned it. Well, I was in the White House for the ceremony, and you guys with the Stetsons appreciate this. The senior aide to the president comes in, and he's looking at my clothes and checking me out. I don't know what the hell he's doing. And he says, the hat's not appropriate. I says, Stetson, sir. The Stetson's not appropriate. He says, the Stetson's not appropriate in a White House, Colonel. And I says, well, thank you. Rest assured, this is not the last inappropriate thing I'm going to do in my life. I wore the Stetson, and a lot of the guys were downrange at the time, and so I wore the Stetson in their honor, and in the honor of all the guys who served, and the ones that wear it here today. I'm a very lucky man to have had the opportunity to do the flying that day, and all the other days. The guys that we supported, I would never leave any wounded guy behind. Never. That was one of the things that we did, and we guaranteed to be there. Our medevac had a requirement for a green landing zone for 5 minutes. But when these guys are getting shot at, they don't have time for that. And if they're wounded and on the ground, you got to get in and get them out. And Ed Freeman and my people always went. And I would tell you that those people that wear the Stetson today that I brought out of there, you could have at least invited me to park my RV in your driveway. I didn't do it just for free, you understand. There's got to be some payback. Yeah, just sure. Now that I've sold my motorhome, again, I'm very lucky to have had that opportunity to serve with my fellow CAV soldiers, and we've had one hell of an outfit. Together, the aviation and the infantry had a great combination. We established the first real use of helicopters in combat, and from that time on, that's the way that we've gone. I had 20 helicopters in one Jeep, so that tells you how air mobile we were. Every place I wanted to go, I had to take a helicopter. And every place I went where these guys were, they shoot at me for it. So I didn't want to go in the helicopter anymore. That's not true. One common thing that all of us that were in Vietnam, one sound that we'll never forget is wah, 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 the word of bleach from that. The Huey. You know, if you heard that sound, we were coming. Of course, the enemy knew. They heard that sound, we were coming. And we had a C2 that thought we had to change our call signs because the enemy was listening on the radio. Didn't understand what that noise that Huey made. They knew we were coming anyhow. It didn't make a damn bit of difference whether they knew what our call signs were. And the day we changed them, we found out that didn't work very well. And the next day we changed them back and they fired the tube. And that was the way it should have been. Because the infantry and us, we knew each other, we knew our voices. We were so familiar with each other that we could identify anybody on the radio. And if you ever had an opportunity to listen to the radio when the infantry is in combat, it's pretty friggin' awesome. You get a vocabulary that expands some fears, even if you're an aviator. So, I want to thank all of the guys who did serve with us and their families, and particularly the Gold Star mothers. We owe, each of you has to know how much it hurt us to lose. Every man that we lost was one of our boys, one of my sons. And we loved them. We cared for them. We would have done anything to try to keep that from happening. So, God bless you. God bless them. I had another hour and a half. Yeah, I was supposed to go an hour and 25 minutes. So, no, I want to thank all of you for coming here. I want you to support the fund for developing the new project here. It's very important. It'll be just as good as what we have, and it'll be just as great a memorial to the Vietnam vets. So thank you, and thank the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund. Thank you all for having me here.